Hello, and welcome to Kaz English, your ultimate destination for mastering the English language. Whether you're a beginner or looking to polish your skills, we've got you covered with engaging lessons and practical tips. Don't forget to visit our website at kazap.uk. That's KAZAPP.uk for exclusive resources and additional learning tools to help you succeed. Let's dive into today's lesson and take your English to the next level.
All right, let's dive right in. So you're here because you're trying to, level up your English, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially those everyday conversations that can sometimes feel a little tricky.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to break down a real chat between two friends who are planning a trip to a food festival. And believe me, it is packed with useful phrases that you can start using right away.
You know what I find so fascinating about language is that even simple phrases, right, they can take on different meanings depending on who's saying them and why they're saying them. So thinking about the context of this friendly chat is going to be key for us.
Exactly. It's all about the context. Okay, so picture this. You're Nina, you're hanging out with your friend Jack, and you've got this amazing food festival on your mind that you just, have to tell him about.
Mm-hmm.
How would you bring it up? How would you start that conversation?
Well, in this case, Nina starts off with, Jack, have you heard about the upcoming food festival? Now, it's casual, it's friendly, and it's a really common way to introduce a topic, something that you're excited about in English.
Yeah, it's like my go-to phrase.
Yeah.
And, Jack's response, it shows, he's interested, right? He goes, no, I haven't. When is it happening? See, it just keeps that conversation flowing so naturally.
Exactly. Each person, they contribute. It builds this natural back and forth, which is, the heart of a good conversation. Now, Nina could have just stopped at saying the date, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, she adds this little detail. It's next weekend, and there will be vendors from all over the world.
Ooh, hold on. Vendors. Now, this is a word you'll hear a lot, especially at events like this.
Absolutely.
And it basically just means people who are selling things.
Yeah.
But in this context, at a food festival, we're talking about, delicious food from all corners of the globe.
Right. Just imagine, like rows and rows of stalls, each one offering a different cuisine. It paints such a vivid picture in your mind, and that's what good English does. So, how do you think Jack reacts to this news?
Well, if I was Jack, I'd be like, super hyped. And Jack doesn't disappoint. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, sounds amazing. I mean, this is such a useful phrase because you can use it for, pretty much anything that sparks your interest.
It's all about how you say it too, right? A bright tone, a genuine smile. It can make sounds amazing even more impactful. But, good conversations, they're not just about agreeing all the time.
Right.
Jack keeps things moving with a very practical question. He asks, is there an entrance fee?
Getting right to the important stuff.
That close?
And Nina, being the amazing friend that she is, she's got the inside scoop. She says, there's an early bird discount if we book now. Okay, two things I want to unpack here. Early bird discount and booking now to avoid disappointment.
Oh, there's so much to dive into there. First, early bird discount. This is so common in English. It basically means if you act fast, you get a better price.
Oh.
Think of it like the early bird gets the worm, but for events and deals and all sorts of things.
I love that. And then there's that underlying message, right? Avoid disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
This is essential.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about, preventing that negative feeling like missing out on something you really wanted to do, like in this case, the food festival.
Right.
Yeah.
It subtly implies that if they don't book those tickets now, something bad might happen. The tickets might sell out. They might miss out on this amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And this idea of fear of missing out is actually a pretty big deal in English-speaking cultures.
Oh, totally.
I think you'll hear this phrase a lot.
Yeah, you'll hear it everywhere. And avoid disappointment isn't just about, tickets to events or stuff like that. You can use it for anything.
Oh, yeah.
Anything where you want to make sure you get it. You know what I mean? Now, before we go any further, I think it's time for a quick vocab recap.
Yes, let's do it.
We've got vendor, we've got early bird, and we've got disappointment.
Yeah.
So are you ready to test yourselves, listeners?
All right, let's make sure we've got these locked in. Remember, a vendor is basically like a shopkeeper, but usually at events like our food festival.
Right.
An early bird is someone who acts fast, to get that benefit. And disappointment is that feeling you get when things don't go your way, when you miss out on something you were looking forward to.
Exactly. And trust me, you want to avoid disappointment, especially when it comes to a food festival this epic. But here's the thing. Learning from real conversations like this is awesome, but it's just the start. You need a way to practice, right, to really make these phrases stick.
You got it.
So stick with us because this conversation is about to get even more interesting in the next part.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting started. Welcome back. We're still digging into this conversation between Nina and Jack, who are getting ready for that fantastic food festival. Remember, we're not just translating here.
Great.
We're trying to figure out the strategies that good English speakers use to sound natural and confident.
Totally. And, we left off with Jack revealing what he's most excited about at this food festival, right? And he says, great, I'm particularly interested in the live performances. Now, this is a great way to, steer the conversation towards something that you're personally curious about.
Right. And it's way more specific than just saying, that's cool or that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Using phrases like particularly interested in, it really makes you sound engaged.
Yeah.
And it helps you practice, those slightly more complex sentence structures.
Oh, that's a good point. And now Nina, like the awesome friend that she is, she jumps in and says they've arranged cultural shows throughout the day.
Now, this is where things get even more interesting. It's not just about the food anymore. It's about experiencing different cultures, and that adds a whole new layer to the conversation.
I love that.
And notice how Nina uses the present perfect tense here, they've arranged, to talk about something that's already planned for the future.
Ooh, the present perfect.
Yes.
It can be a little bit tricky for English learners, I know.
It can be, yeah.
It's like the action started in the past,
Yeah.
but it's still, relevant now because the cultural shows are, happened at the festival.
Exactly. It connects that past action to the present moment, which is, it's a subtle but important nuance of the English language. All right, let's go back to that powerful sentence we talked about earlier. Let's get our tickets now to avoid disappointment.
Yes. This is such a key takeaway from this whole conversation.
It really is.
It's short, it's impactful, and it highlights, a common pattern in English.
Okay.
Suggestion plus reason.
Absolutely. Break it down for us.
So, let's get our tickets now. That's the suggestion. To avoid disappointment. That's the reason.
Yeah.
It explains, why they need to act fast.
Perfectly said. And you can use this pattern for all sorts of things.
You can. Let's grab some coffee to catch up, or let's take a walk to get some fresh air. It's simple, but it's so effective.
Simple and effective, that's the key. It's all about learning these building blocks and then putting them together in different ways to express yourself.
Yeah.
That's how you truly become a fluent English speaker.
All right, time for another quick vocab check. We had vendor, early bird, and disappointment.
Yeah, are you ready?
I think so. All right, so listeners, are you ready to test yourselves?
Let's do it. A vendor is someone selling something, especially at an event like our food festival here.
Right.
An early bird is someone who acts quickly to snag a benefit, like a discount on those festival tickets. And disappointment. Well, that's the feeling you get when you miss out on something awesome, maybe because you waited too long.
Exactly. Avoid disappointment at all costs, especially when it comes to a food festival this epic.
Right.
But you know what? Learning from these real conversations is great, but it's just the beginning. You got to find ways to actually practice these phrases, to make them stick.
Absolutely. And speaking of practice, have you heard of Kaz English?
Kaz English. What's that?
It's this really cool language learning service that uses, guess what? Situational dialogues, just like the one we've been analyzing here.
Wow.
It helps you understand and speak English, more confidently in those real-world situations.
Ooh, that sounds really interesting. Is it good for beginners?
It is. It's perfect for learners at the beginner and, early intermediate levels.
Yeah.
They've got all sorts of interactive tools and exercises, all built around everyday conversations.
That sounds pretty amazing.
I highly recommend it. It could be a game changer.
Cool. How do people find them?
You can find Kaz English at website address.
Okay, website address. Got it.
Yeah.
And don't forget, while you're checking out that website, why not like and subscribe to this podcast?
Yeah.
We've got more deep dives into the world of language and learning coming your way.
Now, before we wrap up this part, we want to leave you with a little challenge. Imagine yourself at that food festival, right? Surrounded by all those amazing smells and the sounds of the music, the excitement in the air.
Oh, yeah.
What English phrases would you use to strike up a conversation with, say, a vendor or another festival goer?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's all about putting what we've learned into action, right?
Totally.
Think about those phrases we've discussed, like, have you heard about sounds amazing? Let's go, wow! And see how you can adapt them to all those different situations that come up in real life.
This is where the real learning begins. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. It's been so fun breaking down this conversation between Nina and Jack, especially all the cool strategies they use to, navigate this whole food festival situation.
Right. Like, they're not just exchanging information. They're really building a connection, and that's what we want to help you do, too.
Exactly. So let's do a quick recap of some of the gems that we've uncovered today, starting with how important context is.
Oh, a context is everything.
Like, even a simple phrase like, sounds amazing, it can take on totally different meanings depending on how you say it, why you say it,
Yeah.
who you're saying it to.
Yeah. Your body language, your tone of voice, those are all part of the message, not just the words themselves.
Totally. And, we also saw how Nina, she, skillfully introduced the topic of the food festival. And she used all this descriptive language to really paint a picture for Jack, get him excited.
She really drew him in. And then, of course, we can't forget those super useful phrases like, have you heard about? And let's get our tickets now to avoid disappointment. Those are your conversational Swiss Army knives.
Oh, I love that.
You can use them in so many different situations. And then there's that pattern we talked about, suggestion plus reason.
Yes.
Super powerful.
Okay, pop quiz time,
Yeah.
just to make sure we're all on the same page.
All right, hit us with it.
Remember those 3 keywords we kept coming back to? Vendor, early bird, and disappointment.
Ah, yes. Let's see if our listeners have been paying attention.
All right, quick, what do they mean again?
Okay, think fast. A vendor is someone who's selling something, right? Often at an event like our food festival. An early bird is someone who acts quickly to get a benefit like that sweet discount. And disappointment, well, that's the feeling you get when you miss out because you waited too long to jump on something awesome.
Nailed it. You guys are well on your way to mastering these everyday English conversations.
You really are.
And hey, speaking of mastering English conversations, don't forget about Kaz English.
Oh, yeah, Kaz English.
Remember that awesome language learning platform we talked about?
They've got this incredible system built around real-life dialogues, and it's perfect for beginners and those who are, starting to move into that intermediate level. You can find them at website address.
Awesome. Kaz English. Check it out. Okay, but before we say goodbye for today, we want to leave you with a little challenge.
A challenge. I like it.
So we want you to think about how you would use what we've learned today in your own life, in your own conversations.
So imagine you're at the store, or maybe at a cafe, or even just chatting with someone online. How could you use those phrases, that tone of voice, all those cool conversational strategies that we talked about to express yourself more confidently in English?
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? It's about empowering you to actually use English in the real world.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Mistakes are part of the process.
That's how we learn and grow.
So keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep diving deep into the world of language. Until next time.
Happy learning, everyone.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.